This week's Parashat Vayakhel starts with Shabbos, which is strange. It says, Vayakhel Moshe kol hadas b'nei Yisrael. Moshe gathered all the people, and Vayomer Alem, and he says, these are the things that Hashem has commanded you to do. And then he starts with Shabbos. Sheishis yamim te'asem melacha. Shall work for 6 days. On Shabbos you shall rest. Kodesh, the seventh day is a holy day. Shabbat, Shabbaton LaHashem. And then it says, right, you shall do no work. And then that's one little paragraph. The next paragraph, all of a sudden Moshe instructs them about the Mishkan. So this is like going back to what we started with a few parshas ago. And Rashi tells us, what's Vayakhel Moshe? Vayakhel means he gathered everyone. What's the idea, right? Men, women, children. He says, L'machart Yom Kippurim. This took place on the day after Yom Kippur. Shiyard minahar, when he came down with the second luchot. And he basically starts teaching them about the Mishkan, right? Rashi is of the opinion that the Mishkan was only necessary as a tikkun, as a tshuva for the Cheder Egel, to get back to the level they were on before the Cheder Egel. And only once Hashem fully forgave them on Yom Kippur, the next day, Moshe Rabbeinu instructs them how to actually now go forward after this terrible sin, and that was at the building of the Mishkan. So what's Shabbos doing here? Why talk about Shabbos right now? First of all, they've already been taught about Shabbos in the Aser Zadibros. They were given the laws of Shabbos in Mara even before when they left Egypt. Why is it Kadosh Baruch Hu? What's the connection between the day after Yom Kippur, which is all about building the Mishkan, and Shabbos? So Rashi says, Hiktim lehem azhara Shabbos. The reason why Hashem is giving them again the mitzvah of Shabbos is to tell me that building the Mishkan doesn't override Shabbos. So the fact that it has Shabbos and Mishkan back to back is telling me that you would think that maybe the building of the Mishkan overrides Shabbos. No, Shabbos is more important than Mishkan. And in fact, we know that's where we learn the 39 melachot, right? The whole 39 types of work that are prohibited on Shabbos are actually derived from those 39 steps that are needed to build the Mishkan. But I think perhaps on a deeper note, what the Torah is getting at is telling us that as important as the Mishkan is, and whatever the Mishkan could achieve, right? What is the purpose of the Mishkan? Hashem says, right? He says, build me a Mishkan, v'shachanti asuli migdash, v'shachanti betocham. If you build me a mikdash, if you build me a Mishkan, that will be the transmitter, that'll be the conduit, in order that I should be able to dwell betocham. Not betocho, but betocham, which means in each and every Jew. Before the Cheder Egel, each Jew had a direct connection to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. He had the potential to have a direct connection to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Because we fell such a severe level with the sin of the golden calf. So now HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, in order for me to dwell inside of you, there has to be a transmitter, right? There has to be a Mishkan that brings the Shekhinah down, and from there, the Shekhinah will emanate into each and every person. So the way we get close to HaKadosh Baruch Hu is through a Mishkan. When the Torah puts Shabbos before Mishkan, the Torah is telling us that whatever the Mishkan could do, Shabbos could do even more. And therefore, what the Torah is telling you is that you know why you're not allowed to build the Mishkan on Shabbos? It's because you don't need a Mishkan on Shabbos. When do you need a Mishkan? You need a Mishkan during the other 6 days of the week. When you're involved in work and you're not on the level of holiness that Shabbos affords you, you're living under the realm of the 6 days of the week. So then you need a Mishkan in order to connect you to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. But on Shabbos, you don't need a Mishkan to connect to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. You could connect directly to HaKadosh Baruch Hu on Shabbos. That's why the Torah puts Shabbos before Mishkan, because there's no reason to build a Mishkan on Shabbos. This idea is also brought in a medrash. Vayakhel Moshe kol hadas b'nei Yisrael. So Amar lehem HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Hashem says to the Jewish people, Yisrael, Imatem nikalim b'kol Shabbat v'Shabbat. Again, why does it say Vayakhel? To congregate in reference to Shabbos. So there's a midrash that says, Hashem says, if you will congregate on Shabbos, bebate knesiot ubebate midrashot, in the shuls and in the bate midrash, the oskim b'Torah, and you're osek and you're involved in davening and in learning Torah, ma'aleh ani aleichem, I will count that, ki'ilu himlachtem oti b'olami, that you have crowned me king in my world. And he says, the Beit Yosef, right, who wrote the Shulchan Aruch, writes that Mikan Samchu B'Kol Tfutot HaGolah, this, from here comes the custom that all throughout the diaspora, that Jews congregate in the shuls on Shabbos. And that's why on Shabbos, that the shuls on Shabbos are not just places of worship, they're not just places to daven, but also it's a place where there would be learning going on. After Shachar, there'd be a Shiur, and before Mincha, and it would be basically a place where, basically what a person would do is that he would spend the bulk of his Shabbos in shul, either davening or learning Torah, and he would go home for the meals, right? He'd go home for the meals. The meals are also Einig Shabbos. But Shabbos was really a day of gathering, that the Jews would gather and learn Torah together. That's when the rabbi would give his drasha. That's when the bulk, I would probably say, of Torah learning in the diaspora, when people were so bogged down by work during the week and all other troubles, the time that Klal Yisrael really invested in learning Torah was on Shabbos. And that's the idea of Vayakhel, that if you gather on Shabbos, so then it's like we are crowning Kadosh Baruch Hu. The Yerushalmi also says, the Talmud Yerushalmi says, Lo nitnu Shabbatot v'yamim tovim, ela kadei lasuk ben b'Torah. The whole purpose for which Hashem gave us these days of rest, whether it's Shabbos, whether it's Yom Tov, is in order lasuk b'Torah. And actually there's a Zohar. He brings over here, Galinsky brings a Zohar that says on Motzei Shabbos, when the Neshama Yetera, when our added soul goes back up to Hashem, they ask the added soul, Nu, what did you learn on Shabbos? What did you learn on Shabbos? I hope our soul remembers. So that's the beauty of Shabbos. Again, the idea is that, a person could spend his Shabbos many different ways. A person could spend his Shabbos learning Torah, having holy meals with Zmiris and Divrei Torah at the meals, and learning in shul and coming to shul and coming to shul before Shachris to learn, staying there after Musaf to learn, coming before Mincha to learn. And it transforms the Shabbos literally into a day of getting close to Hashem. And that really is in place. We don't have a Mishkan today. So today, what is the Mishkan of the Jewish people? The Beit Knesset, the Beit Medrash. Because it's through Torah that we get close to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It used to be that we'd get close to Hashem through a Mishkan, through a Beit HaMikdash, through the temple. Now there's only one way to get close to Hashem, through using the shuls properly, by davening and by using it as a place of learning Torah together. That's the way HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants us to observe Shabbos. Another way of observing Shabbos is by, using it to catch up, reading the newspaper, sleeping, shluffing. I find that when you sleep on Shabbos, you get your punishment right away. You can't sleep Motzei Shabbos. Okay? It happens to me every week. Okay? You think it says Hashem is erech hapayim, is slow to anger. You find that all the time, not by shluffing on Shabbos. I find when I shluff on Shabbos, HaKadosh Baruch Hu nails me right away. That Motzei Shabbos is finished by me. And then I'm a zombie on Sunday. So that's it. So you'd think that, if a person, every time he sleeps on Shabbos, he gets his just desserts on Motzei Shabbos, so you'd think that I'd get smart and stop sleeping on Shabbos. That's a tough one, It says, Sheina b'Shabbos tainug, and also Shina b'Shabbos tainug. Sleeping on Shabbos is a tainug, is a delight. Shina b'Shabbos tainug. Learning on Shabbos is a delight. So they say, it depends what you do during the week. If you're a guy who's sitting in Kollel all week, learning all week, so then you observe Sheina b'Shabbos tainug. So then sleeping on Shabbos is a tainug. It's something different from what you do during the week. If during the week you're working all the time and you don't have the ability to learn, so then Shabbos should be Shina b'Shabbos tainug. You should use Shabbos to learn. But even those that learn during the week, again, even though I don't practice this as much as I should, but still, if a person could try to overcome the Yetzer to have a good shluff on Shabbos, to have a good sleep on Shabbos, and he could utilize and invest more time on Shabbos to learning than sleeping, and certainly to learning as opposed to reading newspapers, learning as opposed to being involved in mundane activities, the more that we could invest in Shabbos and make Shabbos more holy, like the way that HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants it to be, so then we are able to get close to Hashem in a way that perhaps even the Mishkan couldn't bring us close to Hashem. V'shachanti b'soichem, Hashem says. Whatever the Mishkan could bring, however much the Mishkan could bring HaKadosh Baruch Hu into our lives, the Shabbos could bring Hashem into our lives even more. And that's why you don't build a Mishkan on Shabbos, because you've got the real deal. Shabbos is the real deal. Shabbos is the Shabbos Kala. Right? We are married. Shabbos, what happened? There's a famous medrash that says that every day of the week has a pair. But Shabbos is the odd one out. Sunday has Monday, Tuesday has Wednesday, Thursday has Friday. Yeah, the first 6 days of the week are chavrusas. They form a pair. And Shabbos says, I got no one. I'm alone. So Hashem says, Knesset Yisrael, the Jewish people will be your shidduch. And that's why we are bound to the Shabbos, to the degree that we keep the Shabbos. Certainly to the degree that we keep the Shabbos from being mechalelet, from desecrating it. And then, not only guarding the Shabbos from desecrating the Shabbos, but we sanctify the Shabbos by doing holy endeavors like having lofty meals and davening with kavanah and learning Torah on Shabbos. So then Shabbos is what it should be. And we'll just finish off with the beautiful Zmiris on Friday night. Kol mekadesh shvi'i karo Eloi, kol shomer Shabbos kedas mechalelo schara harbe mod al pi palo. It says over there two things. Kol mekadesh shvi'i karo Eloi. Anyone that sanctifies the Shabbos karo Eloi as it deserves. The kol shomer Shabbos kedas mechal. There's two levels. There's being shomer Shabbos from desecrating it. First and foremost, keep the Shabbos. In the aspect, don't trample it. Don't violate the Shabbos. It's one level. But the higher level is kol mekadesh, to be mekadesh the Shabbos. And we're mekadesh the Shabbos. We sanctify the Shabbos, again, by utilizing our time wisely. If you got to take a nap, you're just going to pay for it Motzei Shabbos. Whatever we benefit from in this world, we have to pay for it somewhere along the line. Over here, we pay for it that very night. To the degree that we could be mekadesh the Shabbos, not only be shomer Shabbat, but be mekadesh Shabbat, so then we draw close to Kadosh Baruch Hu, even though we don't have a Mishkan today, and even though we don't have a Mikdash today, a Beit HaMikdash today, but that's our way. That's the strongest way that we can get close to Kadosh Baruch Hu, and that's why Moshe Rabbeinu gathered all the people and said to them, first and foremost, we're going to build a Mishkan. These Mishkans that bring Hashem into your lives. But you should know that Shabbos will bring a Kadosh Baruch Hu into your lives even more than Mishkan. Be'ez Hashem, we should keep the Shabbos properly, sanctify the Shabbos properly by exemplifying Shina b'Shabbos Tanug. Learning in Shabbos is a Tanug, is a delight. If we delight in the Shabbos by putting our time to holy endeavors, so Kadosh Baruch Hu will reward us many, many fold and only give us shefa shel bracha in this world and in the next.